Hello, and welcome to my storytelling space. A story is waiting. Join us, come in. And now if you're ready, the tale will begin. Why the bear has a short tail. In the very long ago, the bear had a long bushy tail. Well, one morning, the bear woke up and it was early in the spring and his tummy grumbled and it growled and he was very hungry. So he decided to go out and look for some food. So out he went, and as he was walking along in the forest, he met that sly old fox. And that sly old fox was carrying a great long string of plump fish. Well, the bear asked him if he could spare one for him because he was very hungry, but the fox said no, but I'll teach you how to fish for them, and then you can have as many fish as you wish. Well, the bear agreed, and so the fox said, do you see that lake down there? And the bear said yes. And the fox said, well, just go down and dig a hole in the ice and put your tail down inside the ice. And just sit there on top with your tail hanging down and you on the top. And the fish will think that your tail is food, and so they'll come and they'll nibble and they'll bite. And then when you think you have enough fish, you just stand up quickly and there they'll be. Well, the bear thanked the fox very much, and the fox went on his way chuckling a little. The bear went down to the lake and dug himself a hole right down to where the water was, right through the ice. And then he sat down and he took his long, beautiful bushy tail and he put it down in the water. So he was sitting on top and that tail was hanging down underneath the ice. Well, he sat there and he began to feel these little pinch, pinch, pinch. And he thought, oh my gosh, the fish are biting. Pinch, pinch, pinch. And he waited and waited until he thought he had enough fish and he wouldn't be hungry. And so he decided to stand up. And so he started up, but he couldn't move. And he started up, but he couldn't. That water and the ice had frozen right over top of his tail, so that he was sitting on the top of the ice and his tail was frozen down inside the ice underneath. Well, what could he do? He tried, and finally he gave one mighty pull and he stood up. But when he did, he left the rest of his tail hanging down in the water. And when he looked back behind him, there was just a little short, stubby tail. And that's how the bear got a short tail. And that's why fox and bear are not friends to this very day. Now that story comes in all sorts of different versions, but it can be traced back to the Oneida Nation, and various ways of telling it have sprouted from there. So I hope you enjoyed this story, and stay tuned for the next How and Why tale. This is the second of what is known as a How and Why tale. And this is how the tortoise got a cracked shell. Long ago, the tortoise's shell was as smooth and as shiny as it could be. But this is how it came to be cracked and made of little platelets where you can trace your finger all around on the cracks that are there. The tortoise was known as an animal who could not keep quiet. One tortoise was always talking, and whenever any other animal would say something, that tortoise had to say something back. And so it went on and on and on. But one thing that tortoise wanted to do was to fly. And he would watch the birds getting together and flying away. in the fall. And he would think, oh, if I could just fly. And he would talk out loud, oh, if I could just fly, it would be so great and wondrous what I could see from up above. Well, one fall, the tortoise decided to ask some geese if they would take him with them. And so off he went, and he found some, and he said, could you please take me up into the heavens? I so want to fly. And the geese shook their heads, but that tortoise wouldn't stop talking and pleaded and pleaded and pleaded, and finally they said, all right, but you have to agree not to say one word. Well, the tortoise assured the two geese that he would never say a word. And so the two geese arrived the next morning, each carrying the end of one stick in their beaks. And they said to the tortoise, now, you get right in the middle of that stick, right under here, and you grab onto that stick with your beak. And when we fly up, you will come with us. We will be each on one end, and as we fly up, 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 you'll come with us. But you can't say a word. Well, the tortoise was so excited, he hooked onto that stick, and the geese began to slowly lift that tortoise up, up, up. And the tortoise was flying. He was so thrilled and so excited, and he looked down, and there were animals underneath, and they said, what is that up in the air? What is that that's flying up there? And the tortoise smiled to himself, and they said, well, it can't be anyone from this land. It must be some strange creature. And the tortoise couldn't help himself. He said, no, it's me. And of course, when he spoke, his mouth opened, and down, 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 down he fell until he landed right on his back on the earth. And his shell cracked. And ever after that time, all the tortoises that you will see have shells that are cracked. Now that story is supposed to have come from the Jataka tales from India, and there are so many ways to tell that story, but I hope you enjoyed this one, and I bet if you look and listen to other storytellers and other tales, you'll probably hear some different kinds of versions. One has it that the tortoise was being punished. Until next time, bye-bye.